All right, here we go. One more live stream. Here we are in quarantine paradise as usual. How's it going, everyone? I'm back with yet another live stream. As long as we are locked down for quarantine and all the COVID-19 madness, I'm going to be here every weekday at least. I hope so. Live streaming, just talking about random stuff, eating a lot of great food. Today I took advantage of a great deal that they had at Subway of buy one get one free for footlong sandwiches. So I picked up 2 BLT sandwiches and 1 teriyaki chicken sandwich. And it's been a while since I've actually eaten a whole ton of food on this channel, so I definitely want to see if I can get through at least most of this food. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through all of it while talking, but we're going to see if I can get through a lot of it anyway. Because along with eating my lunch, I do want to talk about, just hang out with you guys, see what's going on, chat, bring up any topics of interest that's going on in the world today, or anything that's really interesting me. And it looks like we've already got a couple of people in the chat already. So thank you guys for clicking on that icon and joining the stream. Got Fabian says, hey Steve. Hey Steve, on a normal day of eating, how do I eat any carbs? Oh, do I eat any carbs? Yeah, I mean, you guys see me streaming 5 days a week, so I'd say that if I'm doing something 5 days a week, it's going to be pretty normal. And you guys see that I do eat quite a few carbs. And of course, even on the days when you don't see me eating, I do not shy away from the carbohydrate. I probably eat a little bit less sugar than people see me on camera. But yeah, I've got a bad thyroid, and going light on the carbs is really not very good for your thyroid gland. So I got to go out of my way to take care of that. Now, this is, of course, Subway sandwiches. Not usually gourmet or anything, but still an excellent staple. Lots of decent ingredients. And this is a BLT. You can't go wrong with bacon and a bunch of vegetables. Mm. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's pretty good. Could use a little bit of salt, but yeah, it's not bad. I love me some bacon. Is there no mayonnaise on this thing? I don't think that there is any mayo on this BLT, which is kind of strange. Usually I have mayonnaise on a BLT, but that's all right. I ordered online, didn't specify everything that I wanted on it, so I guess they went a little bit light on the ingredients. Fabian, you ask how much I get paid for my job? I'm not going to talk about my income. Gosh, that would make me such a douchebag. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about how much money I make. That'd be ridiculous. Manic Tricks Woods, thanks for joining the stream. Say, yo, Steve, how's it going? Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, without any mayonnaise on it, these things are a little bit dry, but they're still all right. Still pretty good. All right. So we're heading into spring in the Pacific Northwest, which is the best time of year. May through August, Seattle is absolutely gorgeous. I know Seattle has kind of a reputation for being a little bit dreary and rainy. But over the summer, late spring, yeah, I mean, the Seattle area is just absolutely gorgeous. Always have, typically has really great weather, lots of sun and everything. So this morning, of course, I took advantage of it. Did another one of my track workouts. My legs are pretty dang tired after this one. I don't know what was going on, but I was really dragging on this workout. So yeah, I just ran to a local track, did a bunch of laps. Look at those. I wanted to do a couple 1,000 meter repeats, aiming for 345 per repeat. But as you can see, 346, yeah, 350, 351, 346. I just wasn't hitting the numbers. So I was planning on doing 6 of those 1,000 meter repeats, cut it off at 4, because I was just feeling tired. And I know that typically means that you're a little bit like fatigued, maybe a little bit overstressed. Haven't been getting enough recovery. So yeah, I cut it a little bit short. Hopefully I'll be able to get a little bit more carbs in my diet. I don't know. Yeah, after like not eating a whole lot on Tuesday, I don't know if that's still a little bit of a hangover from that. Obviously, I'm feeling a lot better than I was on Monday, but you know, hopefully tomorrow I'll be back in like fighting shape and able to like hit it really hard. Oh my gosh. Mm-mm. I think Subway, kind of funny that Subway is like the healthy option for fast food. I think it's decently healthy. I think it's a little bit less unhealthy than some other options actually. But I know some folks in college would consider like Subway their healthy meal for the day or the week even. mm. All right, who else do we have hanging out in the chat? Frederic says a man of his word, talked about Subway and he gets it. Yeah, talking about those Subway party subs kind of planted that idea in my head. I didn't get one of the 6-foot-long party subs, but still decided to get a couple of Subway sandwiches. And MJC says, hey, Steve, how's it going? Good to see you, man. And it says, hello to everyone. So everyone, MJC says hello, and I hope everybody says back hello back. Frederic asks, how many rest days do you usually take? That's a tough one, because like when I'm working out, I take very few days off where I just do absolutely nothing. Like sometimes before a really big race, I'll take a complete rest day, but usually I have like maybe three really hard days when I'm working out. And then the rest of the week, I'm just doing like easy stuff like active recovery, just to keep my blood moving. Because, you know, keeping your blood circulating, especially through your joints, is how your body repairs itself. Like, nutrients get delivered to your muscles and your joints and everything like that through blood. So as long as you do something to get your blood flowing a little bit, it increases recovery. So complete rest days, not too many. But, yeah, I only work out super hard 2 or 3 times a week. Manic Tricks Wood says, Steve, I hear the gaming industry is one of the worst software jobs. Are the crunch times bad at Microsoft too? I don't know what the your definition of worst is. Like, I think that's a little bit too subjective. You know, some people really love that kind of like roller coaster of staying in the office for 12, 16 hours a day every now and then, and really feel like they're hitting it, contributing to something amazing. I personally don't like it too much. As for Microsoft, like, it's not very homogenous. Like, I don't know. I mean, most people from the outside see Microsoft as one giant company all moving in concert towards a specific goal. But the reality is that it's more like 1,000 small companies that kind of collaborate with each other. So to make generalizations about Microsoft as a whole, I couldn't say. I'm sure there are some places in Microsoft where the crunch time is really bad. And there are other places where it's not so bad. I've thankfully never enjoyed the crunch time, so I've never had to deal with that. And if I was ever on a game team where it looked like there was going to be a crunch time, I don't think I would bother sticking around for too long. Man, it looks like we got a lot of questions about my diet and stuff today. I guess you guys are just interested in hearing about the kind of stuff that I usually eat. I mean, honestly, like, I usually don't talk about the stuff that I eat off camera because it's not that interesting. I mean, if you're looking to optimize your health, my diet plan probably not going to be the best for you, you know? Eating one giant meal a day getting 2/3 of your calories from junk food is not a good way to optimize your health. Just FYI, guys. Frederick, you say you usually get the bulk of your calories during lunch, or is this only a quarantine thing? Yeah, this is only a quarantine thing. I typically have like one giant meal a day and just like snack and graze for the rest of the day. Tuna Shogun says, I don't know if there is a shortage. I feel there was more of a shortage in the last couple of months, and things are probably normalizing now. Oh, you're talking about so the topic of the day, that I wanted to talk about that I heard about this morning is this beef shortage that's going on. And interestingly, I think for a lot of things, like there is a shortage of, like there's kind of a run on things like toilet paper, hand sanitizer, and a couple of food staple items. But interestingly, I think what do you call them? The supply lines for a lot of those weren't shut down. So you saw a really quick shortage right at the beginning, and then you see grocery stores kind of ramping back up their supply. But with the beef industry, interestingly, for some reason, like butchering factories and processing plants were rampant with coronavirus. So they all got, they were all hit really substantially in the last month or two. The thing is that you're not actually feeling the effects of that until, just recently, just the last couple of weeks, because the supply lines were completely full up until that point. So I think that's kind of like my 2 cents, my hypothesis on what's going on. But for example, let's see, I was looking through the news after what I heard this morning, and apparently Wendy's restaurant is really feeling the pinch right now. You say, for Wendy's fans, it's a hard question to avoid. Yeah, where's the beef? Where's the beef? The Dublin-based restaurant chain, famous for its fresh, never-frozen square burgers, faces a hamburger shortage in almost 1 in 5 of its U.S. restaurants, according to one outside estimate. Yeah, it's crazy that fast food restaurants are feeling the pinch of meat shortages. So I think after all of the factories got hit with coronavirus pretty badly, like it was really widespread. They're kind of thinking whether it was spread amongst bovine carriers or if it was just a bunch of people working in one area and not the most sanitary conditions. I don't exactly know what's going on, but apparently there's a push to reopen and bolster beef plants beef processing plants to make sure that ground beef is not going to be shorted in the current economy. Yeah, so we see here the U.S. Beef processing market is highly concentrated, with the 4 largest beef processors controlling 80% of beef processing. In short, with such a high concentration and threat of increasing consolidation, we have concerns that beef processors are well positioned to coordinate their behavior and create a bottleneck in the cattle industry to the deterrent of ranchers and consumers alike. Let's see. So the letter follows President Trump's use of the Defense Production Act to keep meat process plants open. Plants shut down amid a wave of coronavirus infections, with one Smithfield pork processing plant in South Dakota reporting 800 workers infected, or 800 worker infections, and an Indiana Tyson plant reported nearly 900 worker infections. Nearly 24 plants have closed periodically since the pandemic began, cutting beef output by about 10%. So I've seen a lot of grocery markets do this thing where they're putting limits on the number of items that somebody can buy. And I haven't seen this in meat, but it looks like Kroger is starting to limit the amount of beef, pork, and chicken you can buy. So meat all up. I mean, that's pretty crazy. So I'm wondering if this is like a perfect way for, Beyond Meat, an Impossible Burger, to get a little bit of a foothold, since in the podcast where I heard that this morning, they were talking about how, I think it was Beyond Meat is kind of like, there's no shortage in pea protein, I guess. So Beyond Meat can definitely jump in and fill the gap and fill the need there. Unfortunately, those, like high-end vegan meat alternatives are a little bit pricey. I was thinking about actually going to the store and getting some Beyond Meat burgers, because I do see them in some of the places. I don't know, maybe I'll have some Beyond Meat burgers tomorrow for lunch. Because if you haven't had a Beyond Meat burger, they're actually very, very tasty. I like them personally more than a regular meat burger. So I think what you're seeing right now is an increase in the price of beef. And maybe you'll see like some fast food restaurants are having a little bit of a shortage. But yeah, I don't think you're going to see like beef counters just completely empty. It's probably basically going to be seeing an increase in prices. I do find it interesting that I have seen a couple of dairy sections at stores completely empty of eggs, which I don't know why people are buying a ton of eggs. I guess it might be that they're also buying a bunch of flour, a bunch of baking mixes and that kind of thing. And for those things, then you do need eggs to use them, but who knows what's going on. Well, I think that was an excessively dry sandwich, but I'm hoping that this teriyaki chicken is going to be a little bit less dry. Oh my gosh, look at that. Super greasy. Super wet with something, so obviously not dry. Oh, yeah. That's a lot better. I think it could still use a little bit of seasoning on top, but that's all right. Okay, let's catch up on some of these comments. Got AJAT in the chat. Good to see you. I'm glad you're still alive, still kicking. Says, actually, according to the series, Adam ruins everything. It's totally okay to reveal your income. People think others judge you, but in reality, employees would be angry at the employer. Yeah, I'm not worried about people thinking I make too little money. I think that's... yeah, it's just kind of a taboo thing to talk about income so directly. It's, like, if you want to see how much I make, it's probably going to be pretty typical for software engineers. You could Google that, find out how much software engineers make. I think entry-level software engineers are typically like $80,000 a year, and like senior architect, maybe you're getting up into $250,000, $300,000 a year, somewhere around there. I don't know. Frederic says, got it. 3 to 4 times per week hit or long distance, and 3 to 4 times per week active recovery. Great approach to avoid injury and keep a healthy body. I think with runners, like, it's even less than that typically. Meb Keflezighi, or Meb Keflezighi, if you want to pronounce his name correctly. The Eritrean American, who's probably one of the best marathon runners in the last several decades. He was kind of famous for having a 10-day training period where he would only work out hard 3 times during that. So he'd have almost like a 1-to-4 ratio of hard days to rest days. But the guy still ran like 170 miles a week. So even his rest days would be, much harder than what I could probably maintain. Eric Gunnarsson eating a submarine sandwich today. Looks nice. Yeah, it is pretty good. Produce Not Pills says, why would that be surprising if they were dealing with diseased animal parts? Of course, they're apt to get the virus. I mean, I'd be surprised that the virus can even affect bovine carriers. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe it can. Maybe it is carried through bovine. But those plants are typically like they're inherently pretty dirty, so I would expect that people would go out of their way to sanitize themselves a little bit more. So that's the only reason why I'm surprised that it would be particularly rampant in those kinds of areas. Tuna Shogun, that's sad about the processing plants and the people getting sick. Yeah, it's just a ton of people, and it is pretty crazy how contagious this stuff is when you get a lot of people all crammed together. It only takes one person penetrating that little community to just, yeah, and it becomes super widespread. So I know a lot of people like to look at the overall numbers of the people who are infected and the people who are dying of the coronavirus and say, oh, it's not a big deal, obviously, because it is only like, less than 0.1% of the total global population or something. But the thing is that in these small communities and these places where people are really tight-knit, a la New York, like New York seems like the coronavirus is pretty rampant there. And of course, elderly communities where, like I mentioned, like one person walked into an elderly community in my own hometown. This was before everything was locked down. And a couple of weeks later, several people were dead. And now with this, you see lots of people working in tight conditions where they're doing the kind of work that can't be done remotely. Obviously, you're going to get a ton of people getting sick. So I hope that they're going out of their way to make sure that everybody's being sanitary and safe. Frederic, you say it's super interesting and impressive, Steve. I am super interesting and impressive. No. Okay, anyway. So you managed to stay super lean while eating junk food in a relatively sustainable way. On top of that, you're knowledgeable about your health. Yeah, I mean, it's about the long-term things. Like, there's always this idea of doing everything in balance, So I think if I eat absolutely insane, but I'm also working out quite a bit, I'm probably a lot more active than your typical software engineer. So I think balancing those two things out, making sure, and of course, avoiding a lot of those pitfalls that some people fall into, like excessive stress and working out excessively. And, making sure that when I do feel like I'm getting a little bit unhealthy, a little bit out of bounds, then I do know when I need to like reel it back in. Produce not pills, you say that these viruses are zoonotic. This shouldn't be surprising us at all. Well, I could be wrong, but I was under the impression that these viruses came from bats. So I don't see any reason why, like, a virus should cross between bats and bovine. I mean, yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me why. Why a virus could more easily go between animals than they could go between animals and humans. Of course, any animal can be a carrier. Like, even if an animal isn't susceptible to getting the coronavirus, like if you cough or sneeze on a dog, then somebody else pets that dog, then the dog didn't get the coronavirus, but was still a carrier for that coronavirus by carrying the particles that came from another person. I think it's basically just when you get a lot of people all crammed together. Frederic says, thanks for sharing your approach to food, man. I genuinely appreciate it. Of course, I'm always happy to talk. I am an open book. That's why I'm on YouTube. I love the attention. AJ Bryles, trying to lighten it up a little bit, asks me if I watch One Piece. Oh my gosh. I remember when I was younger, like, I had a lot of friends who were really into One Piece. Thought it was just the coolest thing ever. I think it was around the time that the original Pirates of the Caribbean movie came out. Let's see. When was that? Pirates of the Caribbean. Nope. Show me Curse of the Black Pearl. All right, when did this movie come out? Yeah, 2003. So 2003 was when I was 15, 16, somewhere around there. I was probably hanging out with my high school friends, doing lots of LAN parties, that kind of thing. And for folks that don't know, One Piece is this anime that's all based around pirates and stuff like that. So, so pirates all of a sudden became a super cool thing. Everybody in my little circle of friends really thought it was a great movie. And a bunch of my friends all got into it. I watched a couple of episodes. I think that it wasn't too bad when I got into it. I think that it got a little bit samey after a while. Like, it's just a typical shonen. I think that's what you call it, a shonen anime, like shonen for the genre of anime, with an interesting concept and a context of being around pirates. So yeah, I've seen it. I'm not a big fan of it nowadays. Like I said, I think that it did get a little bit samey. It feels a little bit like Dragon Ball Z on with pirate ships to me. But cool anime. I think back in the day, I really dug it. I thought it was pretty cool. Anna, you mentioned that you work in a meat department and people are buying up the meat. Stupid crazy. Yeah, seems like the people who are kind of preppers and know how to hunt caribou or something like that are probably sitting back and feeling pretty smug about having their own supply of meat. Maybe they have like 800 pounds of caribou and moose and deer meat in their own freezer or something like that. Yeah, I couldn't imagine. All right, guys. It's been a while since I've done that. Try not to do too much speed eating alone, but it's fun to do that every now and then. Speed eating, probably one of the more dangerous things that I do, so don't try that at home. But that was fun. But it has been another wonderful day. It's been yet another wonderful day in shut down paradise, quarantine paradise. But as it were, I gotta get back to it. I gotta shut this thing down. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I hope everybody out there is staying safe, staying happy, staying healthy, all the good things. Pardon me. And I hope to catch you guys again real soon, hopefully tomorrow afternoon. So until next time, you guys have a good one.